The Rock is the fakest celebrity in Hollywood.
I can tell you with a little bit of uncertainty because I failed math, I was probably at that time ingesting about anywhere between 6 to, well, I would say possible, almost 8,000 calories a day.
I can tell you there is no way The Rock burns off enough calories to average 6 to 8,000 calories a day and look like this. If he actually ate those kind of calories, 6 to 8,000 a day, he would be 100 pounds overweight. There is no way he eats this much.
The Rock is not natural, okay? The Rock, he's not a patient of mine, so I don't worry about getting sued.
We're going to be talking about what steroid cycle I think The Rock uses.
The Rock's reputation is cracking like never before. For the first time in his decades-long career of dominance in Hollywood, wrestling, and pop culture, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is losing the people. In just a matter of weeks, a series of public missteps and controversies have combined to create the most significant image crisis of his entire career. It all began with a poorly received appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast, followed by a fundraiser that exploded in controversy. And then, as if adding insult to injury, his involvement in what became WWE's most disliked video in history. For years, The Rock has been the untouchable giant, charismatic, adored, and seen as one of the most likable figures on the planet. But today, that image is faltering. The man who built his empire on strength, charm, and public love is suddenly facing something he's never had to deal with before, a massive wave of backlash. And it's not just online chatter. The numbers prove it. Over 2 million followers gone in record time. For someone like The Rock, that's not a blip. That's a cultural tremor. For decades, The Rock has walked through storms unscathed. Whether in WWE as the electrifying fan favorite, or in Hollywood as the charismatic leading man, his public image has always been his greatest asset. He was the safe bet, the guy who never got truly canceled, never found himself on the wrong side of the internet. But 2025 has hit him like a freight train. It started with his Joe Rogan podcast appearance, an event that was supposed to be a casual, entertaining conversation between two influential figures. Instead, it turned into a public relations nightmare. Listeners described the interview as tone-deaf, overly self-promotional, and detached from reality. The Rock, usually celebrated for his relatability and humor, came across as arrogant, overly polished, and evasive. Instead of bonding with Rogan's massive audience, he alienated them. What should have been a win, two cultural giants talking, became a lightning rod for criticism. Comment sections flooded with viewers calling the episode awkward, fake, and one of Rogan's worst interviews. Clips circulated on social media, highlighting moments where The Rock dodged questions, boasted excessively, or simply failed to connect. For a man whose entire brand is built on connecting with people, this was a blow. And then came the fundraiser debacle, the moment that pushed the simmering criticism into full-blown outrage. The Rock teamed up with Oprah Winfrey to launch a massive fundraiser for disaster relief in Maui. On the surface, it seemed noble. Two billionaires rallying support for victims. But the internet saw something else, tone deafness. Instead of simply donating from their vast personal fortunes, they publicly asked everyday Americans, many of whom were struggling financially themselves, to donate. It didn't sit well. Social media erupted with backlash, accusing them of guilt-tripping regular people while sitting on immense wealth. Memes, commentary videos, and viral tweets flooded the internet, painting The Rock and Oprah as out of touch and opportunistic. The Rock tried to respond, releasing statements and videos explaining the intent behind the fundraiser, but by then, the damage was done. The fundraiser became a symbol of how distant celebrities can feel from the realities of ordinary people. And for The Rock, whose brand was always built on being one of us, this was a devastating narrative shift. But the storm wasn't over. The WWE incident struck next, and this time, it hit at the very heart of where his legend began. His return appearance in WWE was supposed to be triumphant, nostalgic, and electrifying. Instead, the segment he was involved in became the most disliked video in WWE history. Fans accused him of hogging the spotlight, cutting awkward promos, and overshadowing current talent. What was meant to be a glorious comeback ended up feeling forced and out of touch. Longtime wrestling fans, the very people who built his early fame, flooded the video with dislikes and critical comments. Many said it felt like The Rock was trying too hard to relive past glories rather than evolving with the current era of wrestling. For a man who had always been able to walk into WWE and be worshipped like a returning king, this was uncharted territory. The fans who once chanted his name were now turning on him publicly. These three incidents, happening so close together, have created a perfect storm that is unlike anything The Rock has ever faced. It's not one scandal that can be brushed off or forgotten with a well-timed Instagram post or new movie announcement. It's a pattern, one that suggests the world relationship with The Rock is changing. For years, he was a universally beloved figure, practically immune to criticism. But now, people are questioning him in ways they never have before. Comment sections across platforms are filled with phrases like "he's changed," "he's not the same Rock anymore," and "out of touch." And the proof of this shift isn't just in sentiment. It's in hard numbers. Over 300,000 followers have left in a short span, a staggering figure for someone who has been one of the most followed people in the world. It's the first time in his career that his popularity metrics are visibly going backward. This is unfamiliar territory for The Rock. He's built his brand like a fortress, carefully crafted, relentlessly polished, and always on message. But the very polish that once made him seem larger than life is now being perceived as cold and inauthentic. On the Joe Rogan podcast, his answers felt rehearsed. During the fundraiser, his messaging felt detached. In WWE, his performance felt self-serving. The cracks are showing, and for the first time, people aren't looking away. The Rock's strength has always been his ability to own the room, whether that room was a wrestling arena, a Hollywood set, or a late-night talk show. But in this new media environment, rooms are fragmented. Audiences are more skeptical. Parasocial relationships are shifting. The Rock isn't just facing criticism. He's facing a cultural reevaluation. It's important to understand that The Rock's fall from grace, even if temporary, isn't just about these incidents in isolation. It's about the timing. We're living in an era where celebrity worship is being replaced by scrutiny. Audiences demand authenticity. They want real moments, not polished performances. And when someone like The Rock, who has spent years being perceived as authentic, suddenly comes across as detached, the backlash is swift and brutal. The Rogan appearance showed cracks in the facade. The fundraiser confirmed a disconnect. The WWE video drove the point home. And the follower drop? That's the data point that ties it all together. For The Rock, this moment is a crossroads. He's facing something he's never faced before, a dent in his invincible armor. Will he address the criticisms head-on? Will he adapt his messaging, his public persona, his approach? Or will he try to weather the storm as he always has, relying on his massive fan base to carry him through? The answer to that will determine whether this is a temporary dip or the beginning of a more permanent decline in his public image. Because make no mistake, this isn't just internet drama. This is a reputational shift happening in real time to one of the most carefully constructed personal brands in modern entertainment history. The Rock story has always been about strength, perseverance, and charisma. But now, it's about vulnerability, not the kind he shows in motivational videos, but real, public vulnerability as his once bulletproof image takes hit after hit. The Joe Rogan Backlash showed he's not invincible to criticism. The fundraiser outrage showed how quickly fans can turn when they feel disconnected. The WWE disaster showed that even in his home turf, he's not above reproach. And the follower loss shows that this isn't just noise, it's measurable impact. Whether he bounces back or not will depend on what he does next. Some stars crumble under this kind of pressure. Others reinvent themselves and emerge stronger. But one thing is undeniable. For the first time ever, The Rock has stumbled. And the world is watching closely to see if the man who built his legend on never staying down can find a way to rise again. This is more than a celebrity hiccup. This is the biggest reputational challenge of his career, and how he handles it will shape the next chapter of The Rock's legacy.